It is late. I decided to just throw the sweater back on and I got back on the computer. I've been having things 3D print all day. I have no business being up at this time, but I'm laying down and then all of a sudden wifey goes, "Yo, this is insane and you should make a video on this." And I'm like, "Well, what's going on? Like, what, they dropped the trailer for something like a video game?" And then all of a sudden I'd look at the title and I see Jeff Keighley just tweeted out that Sony just took and recorded a $750 million in an impairment loss for Bungie. Now let me get the actual tweet because this is absurd. And look, the no lights on. We just chilling. This is just a vibe. Who knows? I might even delete this video because it's absurd for me to upload at this time at night. By the time this video goes up, it might be like 5, 6 in the morning. And that might end up fucking up my upload schedule. But like the whole point is like, this is insane. Let me go ahead and find PlayStation. This is crazy what I'm seeing. It says PlayStation has reported a $765 million impairment loss due to underperformance by Bungie. This is bad. This is horrendous. And for those who may not understand this whole impairment loss situation or what this means to call it an impairment loss, because a lot of us, including myself, had to look a little bit deeper into it because, again, I don't normally hear those terms on my day-to-day basis. I'm going to go ahead and break it down. So I wrote it on my notes. For an impairment loss, it says, in a business and accounting, an impairment is a permanent reduction of value of an asset due to the fact of the underperformance of Bungie with Marathon, and since they've been bought, I think in 2020, I forgot when Sony bought them for $3.6 billion. They were supposed to make up for that with the next few titles. They didn't just only buy Bungie. They bought everything that has to do with Bungie. They bought their likeness. They bought their marketing. They bought the idea. They bought everything that surrounds them. And let me read off my notes because when I just start randomly saying shit, I sound like Shakespeare. It says basically so it means that the company is officially admitting that what they had officially bought is no longer worth what we paid for. That's like when everybody was investing money in NFTs and everybody was investing money in certain like coins and all that shit, like meme coins. And all of a sudden they put a lot of money into it. And later on it was worth nothing. And that's the best way for me to describe it. The money Sony has basically paid for or bought Bungie for, it lost its value. It's like it's like scalpers when they buy all these crazy Pokemon ETBs or sneaker collectors, and then they find out they're about to re-release thousands and thousands more pairs. This thing just depreciated. They just lost value on this. It's no longer worth what you thought the company can be, what it's worth. Like sometimes a company can end up being worth even more money later on. In this case, it went backwards. So it's no longer what it's worth, what they paid for. And now they have to adjust their accounting to reflect that. And now let me go over to this source right here. Let me just read what it says here. When Sony bought Bungie, they didn't just buy the office space and computers. They paid for intangible assets, things like the Destiny brand, Bungie's reputation, and the projected future profits of upcoming games. Sony recorded that massive value on their balance sheet. This is insane. However, if those future profits dry up or don't meet expectations, accounting rules require Sony to reduce the value of Bungie on their financial records, taking what we thought was 560 is now $765 million impairment cost, meaning that Sony is writing off that amount as a financial loss because Bungie's earning potential has dropped significantly. This is worse than Concord, because Concord suffered from releasing at a time where people and consumers were not having it with live action games, and it really suffered badly. And whatever amount, 500 million that they pay for, Sony has been just taking loss after loss after loss after loss. And you want to know something? That shit sucks, because when you see that means people might be getting fired. Companies might go under. Bungie can go under. They could be like, hey, we might have to separate y'all and spread y'all out across our other development teams. But Bungie's done. We're done. We're going to probably have to sell y'all off. We don't know what's going to happen. But I can assure you, though, this is not a good situation. Now, this is breaking it down. The price typo says, first, it is worth, and the article said here, Sony didn't buy Bungie for 3.6. I mean, they bought it for 3.6 billion. On the eve of Destiny 2's best expansion ever, Sony bought Bungie in early 2022. Right around the time Bungie released The Witch Queen, it was a massive and a highly successful expansion for Destiny 2. At that moment, Bungie's value, and momentum looked incredibly strong, which means it's just like if you watch sports, y'all, and it's like the NBA, and all of a sudden there's this new kid, and he's a fucking problem, and he's projected to be the next LeBron, next Kobe, the next Luka, the next Steph Curry, the next something, and all of a sudden he gets in the league and he becomes a complete bust. They done invested, they done signed him deals. And now he's a complete bust. I can name a few, but I'm not going to turn this into a bashing fest because in the comment sections, you guys will come for me. And I'm not in that, okay? But just understand that's what I'm basically saying. And it says weeks after the launch of Marathon, Marathon is Bungie's brand new multiplayer extraction shooter, which launched in early 2026. Because this $560 million to $765 million loss was recorded just a month after Marathon came out, it strongly implies the game is severely underperforming financially. That makes a lot of sense. And it came out not only at the worst time, because one, Battlefield was still a thing, of course, like still getting some players, but Arc Raiders was sweeping the floor. Marvel Rivals is still competitive. There was too many games that were still up there with so many people playing it, and you decided to drop an extraction shooter. An extraction shooter. Are we not already filled with Arc Raiders is better? So that completely killed it. Not only that, you guys look really bad for not one, not two, not three, but 4 times, I think maybe allegedly 3 or 4 times, caught stealing. Y'all stole assets from a woman who was doing artwork. And then y'all had, I don't know if y'all compensated her, but that now looks bad on your sheet. Now y'all got a reputation for stealing. You be stealing, Bungie. So as I read here, it says ultimately explaining that this business has been a failure, Sony spent $3.6 billion on Bungie, expecting a massive moneymaker through Destiny 2 and Marathon. But instead, the player counts have dropped significantly, and Sony is being forced now to swallow hundreds of millions of dollars as a loss. They've been losing money year after year after year after year after year. And you know what I think needs to happen? You know what I believe should happen? Sony needs to say, hey, ring, ring, ring. We need Factions 2. Not a live service. We need to bring this game back. That gentleman who was working on it and then found out the next day, the same way we all found out that it was canceled, he found out, he said it was an amazing multiplayer. It would have still been played to this day. He said it could have been one of the GOATs, the maker of the multiplayer. And we knew the potential because we all loved the first one. Sony, y'all gonna have to come back. Y'all gonna have to release that one. Make it very fair for the consumer to have fun. If you make it free, fuck it. And you charge people for cosmetics. I don't care if they do that. But all that live service shit gotta go. This is not a good time. Sony, not only just the company, Sony Entertainment from video games, but even movies, y'all been having an insane struggle. Madam Web, Craven, you got Morbius, whatever, shit's ass. Some films are just not performing. Spider-Man is still gonna be a big hitter, but what we're seeing here is extremely, extremely sad. And we don't know what's the current state. We don't understand what's actually going to happen. Now, again, just more details. Late 2025, Sony's Q2, there were warning signs. There was warning signs. Destiny 2 began to severely underperform. I remember. Because of this drop in revenue, Sony is forced to take an initial impairment charge of roughly $200 million during their second financial quarter. March 5th, 2026, the failed launch. Bungie launches Marathon to a mixed reception. Players criticized the complicated UI, divisive art style, and steep learning curve. Within weeks, the player count enters a death spiral. March 31st, 2026, the quarter closes. Sony's 2025 fiscal year officially ends just weeks after Marathon hits the market. Because the launch numbers are so incredibly poor, Sony's accountants realized the game is a financial disaster, and that was probably one of their worst investments. May 2026, the reality check of Sony. They published a final 2025 earnings report and realized that in Q4, they done took with 565 million to only Marathon. Add that with Destiny's 200 million, that equals out to $765 million in 1 year. This shit got me thinking this is worse than Ubisoft. This got to be worse than Ubisoft. Destiny 2's decline was supposed to be a reliable cash cow, keeping the studio afloat while they built new games. The content just wasn't hitting. It just wasn't hitting no more. What really kept that company afloat, what kept that game afloat, was the creators that streamed that game. And you're not giving them content in a timely manner. They had a massive studio overhead. Bungie operates as a massive AAA studio with high volume, high operating cost, and live service games stop making money, and your brand new $250 million game fails. This is insane. Insane. Y'all let me know what you guys think. It's your boy 3MG. PlayStation, y'all are done. Y'all are cooked. And I'm risking dropping a video at this time because it's nighttime and fuck. If you made it this far into the video, can you please hype up this video to help it hit the algorithm? Please. I pray to change that. All right. I love y'all. God bless, and I'm out. Peace.